I'm curious from the.
You need one, Adam?
I'll take one.
I'll wear one.
Yeah. Two people.
Okay. Thank you.
Like,
awesome.
Yeah, it's leave a little.
Should we all scoot over just a little bit?
Yeah, like a V, like a V with a space in the middle. That way you can see those messages.
It's good to meet you in person. Yeah. He's awesome. Where is that guy anyway?
Well, thanks, Ryan.
Would you be willing to wear a beanie?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Want to scoot in on us?
Test. Can you hear me?
You hear it? Have we started?
Not quite.
Okay.
We got a few delays.
Okay.
Testing. Do you hear it?
It's not right yet.
Brenda Lawrence.
Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Yeah. So we're waiting on. We have a large crowd also coming in Metro and Pine. They're running a few minutes behind.
Okay.
Do you have to run back in?
I'm next up in my markup.
Okay.
But I don't know when they'll restart it.
Oh, really?
Well, because it's after the, we'll try to find out. We want to try to find out.
Yeah. How about you? Okay.
Chicago.
Where's Angelita?
It's great to have the work that Michigan's been doing, Chantal.
Mary.
Julio?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, not from here, but
Okay. Whereabouts in there?
You sure? I'm like speechless. Yeah, I've been helping with the management of the signature.
Awesome.
Corey?
Oh,
Yeah, great. We've made it already. We're still
so great.
collecting, but yeah. I still don't ask them who's first running. They'd be like, you need to step forward.
Yeah. You know who my mentor is? Get
Yeah.
to
Life classic.
I love it. Yeah.
Thanks. I will say, of all the, I used to run a business, and I will say I've never seen an organization do the history thing, and it's flag, and I think that's like such a cool, unique. I love it. So you got it. And I literally use it every day for lunch.
Tell the school to my students last night it was October. April, so they put the wheelchair.
Oh, sure, that makes sense.
That was
So cool.
Right now,
Yeah.
tickets is $5, and then
By the way, thanks for being out here.
tickets
How you
is
doing?
now it's just going to be 15 flat rate tips on
I love the pink hats.
Did you just on the podium?
Yes. You know, we have to multitask.
Yeah. A life of an important person.
No, public service. I am public service.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for your service. Thank you. We could do it. If people don't speak it, it's hard for us to change things. So this is really important.
Brought some nice weather. Not like we got in Michigan.
In Chicago,
It's spring over here.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing. I just came from Chicago, and not a week ago I shoveled 16 inches of snow off my back porch.
I know.
So going from that to this is like, it's funny. I was just chilling in my t-shirt, and my coworkers were like, "Put the sweatshirt on." I'm like, "No, I really need to. It's so warm."
So are you speaking?
Oh yeah. And it was that cold rain. I was a letter carrier at one point in my life.
Hey.
And the worst day is like spring day, cold and rain. It just goes through you.
I know it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as
It just gets the chills.
Did you find out?
That's so cool. Has that? Do you still keep up with the industry at all?
Oh yeah, we're having a post on our really excited.
I heard that
Okay, and then
Oh, Chicago.
Somebody lost their apron. Is that Saru?
Would anybody like an apron? Would anybody like an apron?
Oh, yeah. We'll take one over here. What'd you say? Well, you pronounced it before, you said, right? Yeah, I'm a proud Swede.
Okay.
I think I'm just
Will, come on
Really?
over here.
Like,
Yeah.
whatever you thought.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
Oh, your color. I thought you meant like the whatever the heck they put on this.
I can fetch her.
I don't know if they do. Frankly, personally, I was just tempted to throw stuff on myself. I'm like, you know what? Now that I have one of these, like, yeah, we brought a couple
I'm gonna start at 2:10.
Yeah, Victor Love from
Josephine.
Do we know?
Chicago.
Do we know where the
Josephine.
Chicago
in the house. South Shore in the house. South Shore in the house.
DC in the house. Okay, come on.
Hey, Miss Kelly, how you doing?
I'm good. How are
I
you?
brought your constituents from the South Side.
Oh, there she is.
We got Barbara Thompson over here. We got Marjorie Taylor. She's
Here's
from
Jan.
South Shore.
Here's
Okay. Hi.
McGuire.
Thank you so much.
Hey. Hi, Congresswoman. Good to see you again.
Hello.
How's it going?
Hello, everybody.
Chicago.
Can everybody hear me?
In the house.
Do you need somebody to hold that for you?
Yeah, let me take
My
that one.
staff can hold it. Can you hold that for me?
All right. Good afternoon. Oh, here's our crew coming.
And myself, of course, I'm going to wait for
Yes, I'm going to wait for them. Maybe somebody could get them to hurry. Because we've got some Michigan folks.
Try not to grab these mics so they're going to fall right off.
Okay. All right.
Acknowledge the members that are here.
Yes. Are you want to do it? No. Okay. All right.
Oh, gotcha.
A couple feet so we have where people in.
Come on, step
Can we move forward?
You can stand behind the banner. Exactly, get behind the banner.
Guys, come here a little bit. Come here a little bit. Guys, come here.
Everybody just move forward. Come up. Come up. Just come up more.
You
That's
want to
all.
keep it so that it stays
Come up
behind.
for more.
Angelita, could we get you up
Good
here?
enough?
No, come up for more. Come
We're
up
worried
for
about
more.
bumping on this.
Christine and Angelita, if you could just be ready, that'd be great. All right, we are getting started. Hi, my name is Saru Jayaraman. I am co-founder and president of One Fair Wage. We are a national organization of 270,000 restaurant and other service workers, tipped workers, back of house workers, workers who work in the restaurant and service sector. And we are also an association of 2,000 restaurant owners who actually believe, together with these workers, in livable wages and working conditions in our industry. As many of you know, our industry has really suffered an extraordinary upheaval during the pandemic. 6 million restaurant workers lost their jobs, and 2/3 reported that they actually couldn't get unemployment insurance because so many of them were told that their wages were too low to qualify for unemployment insurance. And this is due to the fact that in our industry, we still suffer from something called a subminimum wage for tipped workers that is a direct legacy of slavery, was created at emancipation in order to allow the industry to hire newly freed black people, not pay them, and have them live entirely on tips. Fast forward to 2022, when we still have a subminimum wage for tipped workers of $2.13 an hour at the federal level, and 43 states persist with this subminimum wage. Well, we're here in part today because workers across America have said enough is enough. Right. 1 million workers have left the restaurant industry, 1 million. And of those who remain, 54% say they're leaving due to less tips, low wages, high rates of hostility and harassment, and health risks. They are no longer willing to put up with this. 80% of them are saying the only thing that would make them come back to work is a full livable wage with tips on top. And so wages are going up. Employers are raising wages in states across the country. In Washington, D.C., we're going to celebrate an enormous victory that we are on the verge of having. States and localities are raising wages, but at the federal level, we are still stuck at $2.13 an hour. And so we are here today to say, if there's going to be more relief for restaurant owners, which we welcome because the industry needs relief. The industry is going through an enormous upheaval. If there's going to be more relief, there must be wage increases for workers tied to that relief. There must be wage increases. We cannot continue to save this industry without raising wages, because there is no way to save this industry without raising wages. So I would like to thank, first of all, our amazing champions in Congress who are here with us, who have been our leaders on this issue. Congresswoman Schakowsky, Congressmember Andy Levin, Congressmember Brenda Lawrence, and there are several others on their way. We have workers here today. We have workers here today from Michigan, Illinois, New York, Maine, Massachusetts, DC, and California, and many other states standing together, along with several restaurant owners who are here from all of those same states, saying we need relief and raises. We need both. We need relief and raises. So I'm going to start by having our champion who helped sponsor the event today, Congresswoman Schakowsky, say a few words.
I am so proud to be here to stand with Saru and all the people who are fighting for one fair wage. It is about time. $2.13 an hour is the sub-minimum wage that workers in restaurants are asked to live on. Are you kidding me? You know, we are, how long since slavery? Gone from zero, that's what you got as a slave, to $2.13 an hour. Is that enough? No! It's outrageous. And so we are saying that even as we want to save the restaurant industry, the way to save it is to raise the wages of the workers. If you pay them, they will come. If you pay them, they will come to work. And so I want to say today that it is time, not only, look, we want to make sure that the restaurant industry survives, and they should, everyone should follow the lead of many of the restaurateurs who are here today and around the country who are saying we're going to pay a fair wage to all of our workers. We are not going to consider that $2.13 an hour. But even as Congress is looking to making sure that we help restaurants survive, we have to help the workers who will make the restaurants survive. And so it is time right now that we have one fair wage as the rule around the nation, that every state, that the federal government, that we get rid of that shameful relic of slavery. And so I'm just proud to be here. I want to say also to my colleague from Illinois, Robin Kelly, who has also joined us, that we are here and representative of so many, not just of the women, but the men in this Congress. I don't know if you mentioned Andy Levin is here as well. And we represent so many other members of Congress who say the time has come for one fair wage. Thank you.
I know several Congress members have stopped by and need to go, so I'm trying to get everybody up here as quickly as possible, but I do think it's important to hear directly from people most affected. So if we could take 1 minute to hear from an employer from Michigan and a worker from Chicago, and then we'll let people who need to go back go. So Angelita and Christine. Angelita is a restaurant owner in Detroit, Michigan, and Christine is a worker in Chicago.
Hello everybody, my name is Angelita Gonzalez and I own La Taco Bay, a catering restaurant company in Detroit, Michigan. I currently employ 3 staff and I pay them fair wage because that's the only way that workers are going to come back to work, I believe. I am asking Congress to not pass restaurant relief without trying to increase wages for service workers. It is time for a change, and the restaurant industry cannot wait any longer. We need a level playing field. Relief is important, but we need relief for workers because we are a team. I cannot operate my business without my staff. Once I expanded my business, I know I'm going to have a hard time hiring workers because have a hard time hiring because workers are not going to come back for a minimum wage. They need $15 an hour plus tips on top.
Right.
It's the only way we're going to be able to get out of labor shortage. In the last RRF package, over 2,900 women in minority restaurants had their funds taken away because of a lawsuit claiming it was racist to prioritize those who have historically been marginalized. Enough is enough. We need Congress to act and to pass relief only if there is a wage increase for workers.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know a few Michigan Congress members are here and need to go back to the floor. So thank you, Angelita, for speaking. I'll let Congressmembers Lawrence and Levin come up and say a few words, and then we'll hear from Christine.
I do a lot of pop-ups, and I'm working on being in Detroit.
Great. I want to say hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. I want to echo a dear friend of mine, Aretha Franklin, who is from Detroit. And she said, all I'm asking for is a little respect. And what we're talking about today is the providers and those who serve us with food. You know, we rank restaurants, you know, how good is the service? How good is the food? Well, I want to say, respect the workers who make that happen. So the restaurant owners and the workers are here. We're talking about historic change in our country where we will take those who we sit down and have our special moments in life and we relish when we're treated good. Well, doggone it, treat the ones who treat you good. Treat them with respect and pay the wages, the fair wages. I want you to know that Congress cannot sit on the sidelines. We cannot continue to allow this practice in our country. We know that during slavery time, the rationale behind this. I stand here today as a black woman, and I stand on the shoulders of my forefathers who fought through slavery, civil rights, Jim Crow. And we're here today fighting for these workers, knowing what's happening in America is wrong. And I want you to know that we will benefit 1.3 million Michiganders, including 92,000 workers in my district in Detroit, as well as narrow the gender and racial wage gaps. We know in this industry, the majority of those who work in the restaurants who are being paid this sub-minimum wage are women and black people and people of color. We need to get our act together in America. Who are we? Who are we, and will we stand up? And I want you to know that I'm standing here with you. I'm going to fight with you, and I'm going to celebrate when we change these laws. Thank
you. All right. I'm Andy Levin from a neighboring district of Congresswoman Lawrence's, and I'm just going to say a few things. Number one, let's be honest. If most tipped workers looked like me, we wouldn't even be standing here. We wouldn't be here at all. Tipped workers are overwhelmingly women and disproportionately women of color. And it is time to get rid of sub-minimum wages. Full stop. Pay them $15 an hour plus tips. All right, secondly, look down at that other end of the Capitol, that far side. Over here, Raja Krishnamurti and Brenda Lawrence and Jan Schakowsky and all my other Congress people who are here and we already passed.
That's right.
the Raise the Wage Act. We did that a long time ago. That eliminates subminimum wages. Let's eliminate the filibuster and do justice by the American people by passing it in the Senate. All right. Now, one thing I haven't heard mentioned, Saru, you all have done some amazing research. I try to read it. In states that have eliminated subminimum wages for tipped workers, restaurants have flourished. They've done better. They've grown. So it's time for us to do this as a nation. And, you know, I got to tell you, I'm for the venues. I was so proud when the Magic Bag put my name up there in Ferndale because I was fighting for the, you know, comedy clubs and the music clubs. And I'm so proud that we passed funding for restaurants, you know, earlier in the pandemic. And I'm a supporter of the Restaurant Restoration Replenishment Act. But you know what? You know what? I'm all good for supporting the restaurants. I am right there. But I demand that we stand up for the people who do the work in the restaurants and give them some replenishment too. So let's have one fair wage for everybody in all the legislation going forward. Thank you all.
One fair wage!
One fair wage! One fair wage! One fair wage! One fair wage!
All right, we're going to hear from members and Congress members from Illinois, but I did want to say, as our Michigan people leave, that we have some exciting news. So we, as many of you know, actually passed one fair wage, a full minimum wage for tipped workers on the ballot here in Washington, D.C. in 2018, and the City Council overturned it based on lobbying for the Restaurant Association. Well, things have changed so much. Workers are refusing to work for subminimum wages. Employers are raising wages. We filed this ballot measure again last fall here in D.C., and the head of the D.C. Restaurant Association called me when we filed it and said, we are not going to oppose this, and they have not opposed it. And we are announcing today that we've completed enough signatures gathered to put this on the ballot again here in June in D.C. And the chair of the City Council has already announced that they will not overturn it and it will pass. So we have declaring victory here in our nation's capital. Many other states are following. This is going to be on the ballot this November in Michigan. It's moving as legislation in Illinois and Massachusetts and New York and many other states. And that is why we are saying to Congress, we've got to have you follow the states, follow the employers, follow the workers. At the very least, if there's going to be relief, we need relief and raises. Any relief.
Worked as a server and a tip worker for 15 years, starting at $6.60 an hour. For me, one fair wage is everybody deserves to get a fair wage. Not a less wage, but a fair wage.
That's right.
If it don't start with us, it needs to start here.
That's right.
Congress, I'm asking everyone, we need to pull together, get this bill passed all the way. For everyone, not just blacks, whites, Mexicans, everyone. Not for black men, also for black women, especially. Black women go through a lot in the service industry. Harassment, you name it, women went through it. We need to stop it. Right here, right now.
Yes.
If it don't get stopped, it's gonna continue. As far as me, I've been through it. I've left the industry. I haven't went back, all because of low wages. Until the wage is right, you should not return to work.
That's right. There you go.
Out of all, from myself, as part of Chicago, along with other service workers industry people, we would like to thank Representative Robin Kelly, and also we would like to give a big round of applause for
Rep Schakowsky.
Jan Schakowsky. Everyone, thank you guys. We're gonna get this done today. And stop today.
If not now, then when?
One fair wage, guys.
Good afternoon. I'm honored to be here with everyone. And I really want to give a shout out to all of you that are here. Because you didn't have to be. But you're standing up. You're a voice for what is needed and what is right. And by us coming here, we see you, we hear you, and actually we are all in this together. The restaurant owners, the workers, and us who come to the restaurants to eat. So we need to look out for each other, because when we all do better, we all do better. And it is appalling. $2.13 an hour. $6.66, whatever you said, that's appalling. People need livable wages, not just to survive. We don't need survival wages. We need livable wages so we can afford the rent. We can go out and eat. We can go to the movies. We can have some fun. And we are going to get this passed. But as someone said, stay on their butts at the other side of this place, because we've passed it and we're going to do whatever we need to do. You definitely have champions in the House, and I know there's got to be a few in the Senate. So thank you so much. A special shout out to my constituents. I'm so proud of you. And keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting. Thank you.
We have gifts for all the Congress members, but we'd like to invite Congressmember Krishnamurthy to also join us. Jen spoke already. Yes. Yeah.
Good afternoon. I am honored to be here. First of all, can you give a big round of applause to Saru and her team for the amazing... I've been contacted by so many people to stand with you, that you have so many friends that we are going to get one fair wage. Am I right about that? I think that a sub-minimum wage tip of $2.13 is subhuman. What do you think? Who can afford to live on $2.13? And what does that say about our country that we would even allow that?
That's right.
$2.13, and then the $7.25. That could not afford you even a 2-bedroom apartment in any county, anywhere in the country. You can't feed a family. Am I right about that? You can't raise kids. Am I right about that? You can't educate them. You can't spend money in your community. You can't enrich the economy. You can't make America better. Am I right about that? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to persuade and we're going to get everyone to vote for one fair wage. Am I right about that? With one fair wage, we can have one free workforce. And with one free workforce, we can have one fantastic world. Am I right about that? That is what OFW means. It's about humanity. It's about how you treat people. It's about how we are going to treat each other. And so I just want to say thank you for doing what you're doing. I want to say thank you to Saru and her team. I want to say thank you to all of our workers. As someone said in response to why we're doing this, it's because we're one team. We're one family. We're one America. Thank you so much, and God bless.
One fair wage sweatshirt.
Oh, thank you. Awesome. Thank you.
Keep you warm.
Thank you, Saru.
All right. Thank you. Awesome. Well, we want to thank you both so much for being champions. Oh, and one for Congresswoman Kelly.
Yes, I'm back here taking pictures.
Thank you so much. Well, as I said, we have big news. We're celebrating our victory in Washington, D.C., and we're also celebrating with key allies who've been working with us on these issues for a long time. So I want to invite up Erica Payne from Patriotic Millionaires, who represents donors who've been working on these issues for a long time as well. Thank you so much, Erica.
Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to be here. Erica Payne, I'm the founder and president of the Patriotic Millionaires. Thank goodness there are some millionaires in this country who care about working people. There ought to be more of them. Now, before I was the founder and president of the Patriotic Millionaires, I was a waitress. I started my career as a waitress. I was a waitress at a restaurant called Spanky's around the Chapel Hill campus. Okay? I made $2.13 an hour working the brunch shift. Who's worked the brunch shift? I tell you what, people order more drinks on the brunch shift. You end your shift exhausted, your body hurts, you can barely lift your arm. Right. I worked at that restaurant in 1991 and made $2.13 an hour. If I went back and got a job there today, I'd be making $2.13 an hour. I am 52 years old. That is ridiculous. I just want to say there's not another industry in the country where the people who sell the product to the customers, the people who deliver the product to the customers, are asked to work essentially for free. That's right. And these restaurant owners act like they are the best business people on the planet. You know what? This is not a business model. It is a human exploitation scheme that is being advanced by the all-white, all-male board of the National Restaurant Association. You know who else thought they were really good business owners? Southern plantation owners. That's the end of this. This has to end. The all-white, all-male board of the National Restaurant Association hired Obama's Special Assistant for Legislative Affairs, Sean Kennedy, to do their business. Sean Kennedy is married to the fundraiser for Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. Politics makes for strange bedfellows. These are some strange bedfellows, and these people are responsible for the fact that 12 million people are potentially living in poverty if those tips don't make up that money that they need to make. It is time for this business to change. And to be clear, the National Restaurant Association is aware that there is a problem. During the pandemic, they got together with Diners, Drive-Ins and Dives, Guy Fieri. They raised $21 million. That sounds like a lot of money. They gave $500 to a bunch of restaurant workers, 43,000 restaurant workers. There are 12 million people who work in this industry. They tried to whitewash what they are doing behind the scenes. Now, Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, God bless him, I know he's trying to do a good job, but he needs to call up Sean Kennedy in the National Restaurant Association and talk to his buddy who's the chair of it, who runs Golden Corral, who got $277 million of taxpayer money. He needs to call them and say, it's time to get to this table, it's time to get a bill to the floor, to the Senate, and pass this. It is over. It's got to end. Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, I want to call up our amazing DC crew that actually we're celebrating a victory today of having completed signature collection in Washington, D.C. So I'm going to call up Ryan and Ifioma and Vina, wherever they are, to come say a few words.
Good job! Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ifoma Izimako, and I'm an ex-hospitality worker. My cohorts and I are thrilled that workers nationwide are realizing their worth and refusing to work for sub-minimum wages. In response, many high-road restaurants are raising their wages, which has even resulted in a domino effect of increased revenue for these businesses. We are also very excited that policy is moving in a positive direction across multiple cities and states to raise wages in support of these workers, us, which also levels out the playing field for the employers. We congratulate our people of Washington, D.C. for collecting enough signatures to once again put one fair wage on the ballot, and are excited to hear that bills and ballot measures are advancing in multiple states. Thank you, DC.
That's right.
Congress must follow the lead of us, the workers, high road employers, and cities and states by raising wages and ending sub-minimum wage nationwide.
Yes.
At the very least, we can obtain this by requiring that any new relief given out to restaurant owners be accompanied with livable wages for the restaurant workers.
That's right.
Again, this is not a resignation, it is a revolution.
Yes.
Congress, the restaurant industry needs your support. The restaurant industry needs relief and a raise in wages. The restaurant industry needs one fair wage. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey everybody, my name is Ryan O'Leary. I'm the proposer of Initiative 82 here in DC. I've been a restaurant worker for over a decade now in DC, ever since I moved here for college. And you know, I've worked at some of the highest grossing restaurants in this city and in this country. And I can tell you that while every restaurant owner thinks that they're doing the best for their customers, if they're paying $2.13 or what it is in DC, $5.05, they do not care enough about their employees. As a history lesson for those who don't know, we passed this already in DC. We passed it in 2018 as Initiative 77. It won by a 10-point margin. Overwhelmingly, every single ward voted overwhelmingly for this initiative. And then the council decided to overturn it and go against the will of the people. When I'm collecting signatures for this initiative, I get people all the time telling me, oh, this is already law. This already went into place. And they've been tipping consistently, thinking that this was already the law, that waiters already got paid one fair wage. Because the RAMW and the National Restaurant Association's main argument was tips are going to go away, even though that's not the case in any of the 7 states that currently have one fair wage, and it's not going to be the case in DC. And you know, I think this is the perfect time for us to reintroduce this initiative in DC. After COVID, after I lost my restaurant job at the beginning of COVID, after we all did, all of my coworkers and other restaurant workers in DC, we really took a look at what we considered to be our worth and what we thought was dignified work and things that we would be willing to do and what we wouldn't be willing to do. And on top of that, we have a new council. We have some new hugely supportive members on the DC City Council, and we're going to take Chairman Mendelson by his word that he's not going to overturn this, that he's not going to lead overturning this initiative. And you know, again, they like to say that no restaurant worker wants this. Well, we did a poll in DC of just restaurant workers. 90% of restaurant workers want $15 an hour.
Yes, they do.
This is something everybody wants, and we're going to make it a reality in DC this June. All right, thank you, everybody.
Congratulations to the DC crew. As both Ifioma and Ryan said, there are at least a dozen states that are following right now during the Great Resignation, raising wages, advancing policy to raise wages. And so what we are saying is that if this can happen, if individual restaurants that are here today can raise wages, and I want to recognize there are about a dozen amazing restaurant owners here from all different states who have raised their wages, who are committed to one fair wage, like Angelita, like Jesus, who I'm going to call up next, amazing restaurant owners who are actually doing the right thing and paying livable wages, and they are saying we cannot do it alone. It's got to be a level playing field. So just to be clear, if you haven't gotten it already, what we are here saying today is at the very least, if Congress is going to consider another round of relief for restaurant owners, which it should, to save the restaurant industry, we must also have that be tied to wage increases. Otherwise, the restaurants will not have enough staff to fully reopen. Yeah. Because nobody is willing to work for these wages anymore. And so I want to call up another restaurant owner in New York who has been paying these wages. Jesus, right here.
Yes, Jesus.
Jesus is from Skull Restaurant in Brooklyn.
Well, good afternoon. Clearly, I believe in one fair wage. My hair is pink. From day one, when I opened my restaurant Skull in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, my objective was to pay a fair wage. to treat people the way you want to be treated, not only my customers, but my employees. Back when the Congress passed the RRF, my restaurant got it. Then a week later, it was taken away. Yep. They literally put the money in the account and then whoop, swooped it out. That was pretty messed up, you know. And for me, I believe that I've been doing good by my customers. I've been doing good by my employees, by paying a fair wage of 15 and up. It's only fair. It shouldn't be an argument at all to begin with, you know. And people still tip and they still pay a fair wage. That's because right. It's very important that that's said, because if you treat your customers well, your employees, if you treat your employees well, they'll treat your customers well, where people will give always. In my restaurant, we don't demand tips, but they over tip because I treat my employees well. In turn, they do a good job. Yeah. And I believe that we should pay a fair wage. It shouldn't be an argument. And let's fight for it. One fair wage. Let's do good.
All right, we're going to close out with two more worker voices. Jeremiah from Michigan and one more person. There we go. And Francis from New York.
Hello everyone, my name is Jeremiah Little. I'm excited to be here today, and I want to thank you all for supporting One Fair Wage and for One Fair Wage supporting us. Many of us are or have been workers within the service industry, and it is an important aspect of our lives. We are busy people with work, education, raising children, and volunteering. This industry helps us keep running and provides us a place to celebrate each other and our achievements. I worked in several restaurants within Grand Rapids, Michigan as a server at many and as part of the management team as well. I do know what it is like to live off a substandard minimum wage. Currently, Michigan is under $4 an hour. A server's financial wellness comes from whether it was a good day or not. Now, we all know things happen, like snowstorms, for instance, that keep customers at home. Then suddenly, weekly pay is cut in half. On days like these, servers do not earn a minimum wage. Businesses take their earnings from other days to average out their pay and say that overall they made a minimum wage. This is just one example of how unreliable the pay is for service workers. Throughout the pandemic, I think most of the population had their eye open to their financial instability. As most people are living paycheck to paycheck, many people are leaving their service jobs. In Grand Rapids, it is not uncommon to find that the restaurant you drove to had to close early. No one is there to work the shifts. Many businesses are running on reduced hours, and unexpected closures due to labor shortages are destroying revenues and customer loyalty. And it's great that Congress is working on relief to business owners. We also need to look at the other half of the industry and make sure what we offer is attracting and retaining employees. I know most servers love their jobs, making people happy, creating positive environments, turning people's days around, and giving their time to create community in their restaurants. If changes were made to ensure the stability of the people within the service industry, people would stay.
Yeah. Good everyone. My name is Francis. I'm from New York. I work in restaurant industry for 2 years before I went back to medical school. During my time in restaurants, I work as a food runner. We all know that New York is one of the most expensive states in the United States. But yet, they say they pay $10, but most of us, during my own time, I collect $7.50. And that is kind of things that make most of New Yorkers, especially the restaurant workers, to sleep on the streets. Most of us still share our restaurant. So in order for us to meet up in the morning, we sleep over, we take our shower in the restaurant just for us to meet up. How can you expect somebody who earns $17.50 to pay an apartment which costs $2,500 per month? That is very, very ridiculous. So when people see me going back to school, they thought I made my money through restaurant. I never made my money. I never even had an apartment during my own time when I was working in a restaurant. And if I should go back to restaurant today, believe me or not, I'm not gonna still receive up to $10 per hour. So 2.13 doesn't make any sense of tips. People in the back, sometimes these tips we are talking about, people from the back don't even see it. But this is a teamwork. I'm not opposing for them not to relieve for the restaurant owner, but I believe let's temper justice with mercy. If you want to go around, let it go around. We are all team. There will not be owner without the server, without the workers, and there will be no workers without the owners. They can't kill themselves. This is a team. We are not asking for much. What we are asking is for relief. What we are asking is for fair wage, that everybody can benefit and keep on his tax and all that. Thank you.
Congressmember Rashida Tlaib is on her way, but I wanted to allow. Oh.
Okay, she's here. Okay. No, I was gonna just close.
No, please.
Well, come here, Rashida.
Oh, I'll stand. Go ahead, speak. I'm Jan.
Okay. Let me just say that we have won victories now around the country in many places because of the activism of restaurant owners, especially restaurant workers, and all of the activists that are supporting us in here today. But I want to say we need it now for the rest of the country. And when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. One fair wage.
One fair wage.
Thank you so much. Oh, hello. Okay. I'm so sorry, you guys. Hello, everyone. Hello. I just thank you all so much because it feels good to have home here. Because sometimes I think there's such a disconnect about the pain that is happening at home and the decisions being made here. You know, today, even on the climate stuff today, you should have heard it. I mean, they were talking about anything but our flooded basements. Or the fact that, you know, our communities are literally dying. Or, you know, asthma. Nobody even brought up asthma. I mean, we're talking about air quality. Anyway, so you all know I love you. You know, restaurant owners know they must be required to pass the federal relief that they receive into their employees. You got to invest in you all. That's right. And it has to be in a form of a $15 minimum wage. That's right. And we all want to see restaurant industry thrive. I mean, why not, right? That's right. But it has to be fair and just. By thriving, that also means paying the restaurant workers who make these establishments possible, making sure that they have a living wage. That's right. We cannot write restaurant owners a blank check with no strings attached. Right. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And this is a huge opportunity for us on the federal level to really use our leverage to promoting economic justice and racial justice with our money. That's right. So our strength is always in our numbers, and we've seen the effect of withholding restaurant labor, can have on these owners. 1 million restaurant workers have rejected a return to so-called normal. That means wage theft. I worked on those cases. That is ridiculous. Wage theft, like direct wage theft. They also continue to be harassed in the workplace. I mean, the sexual harassment cases I was working on, people being grabbed while they're it's unbelievable. So we have to make sure that our policymakers, my colleagues here, can't ignore the human impacts we're talking about. And again, we are sending millions of dollars to help the Restaurant Association, but we're not going to actually help the people that we represent. Right. Yes. Is to me immoral and just wrong. You all know tens of billions of dollars have already gone out the door. You know that. You saw it through the programs, who on average got relief 30 times higher than their own workers. And if they're coming back asking for more, well, I'm sorry, they're going to have to play by our rules this time. And so please know that you have a partner in me. Use this. I mean, we got to be able to use the power of our letterhead, the power to convene all of you, to elevate everything that you all are working on. Can't just show up. We have to do it with our votes, and we have to do it with the support that you all need. I hate having my back to you all. Thank you so much, because I know how hard it is to leave your community and your family and come here, but it's needed because they don't get to see you, look you in the face, in your eyes, and actually being able to hear, again, the unbelievable painful experience that you all have to go through working in the restaurant industry. So I'm here for you. I would be fighting with you. Don't worry. They call me the mama bear for a reason. So I got your back. So thank you all so much. And really, really, thank you. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. All right, well, we finished our program, and we wondered if there are questions from the press or comments also that people would like to share. If there are any questions from the press, we can open it up at this time. If not, I wonder if there Any of other workers or employers who would like to share briefly?
Yeah. Okay.
How are you?
Good. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. My name's Diamond. So I am a queer former service worker. I was an esthetician for about 10 years. I went to school for 6 months, got a license from the state of Michigan, and I was being paid $7 per hour for my services. I was being sexually harassed, disrespected, you name it. So I left and I'm disabled. So, you know, my partner is trans. The stuff she has to deal with in the workplace is crazy. You know, she doesn't know what she's going to deal with when she walks out the door. The things that queer people and black women have to go through in the workplace is ridiculous. Yes, white women and other people do have to deal with discrimination, but for queer women and black people and things of that sort and other minorities, discrimination and wage theft is at least 3 to 4 times higher than any other person's. Sexual harassment, discrimination, wrongful termination. I've seen it and I've experienced it. So this is why we're out here today. This is why I'm out here today on behalf of my community.
Yes, Detroit.
Hey, what up, though? So I'm out here to say that wages can't wait. You know, it can't wait for queer people. It can't wait for black women. It can't wait for black women immigrants, who are also 3 to 4 times more likely to experience wage theft than anyone else. So let's get this wage done. And also, let's get this on the ballot here in Michigan. Let's get it done, guys.
Wonder Wage sweatshirt and awesome. Well, thank you everybody so much. Let's close out with a cry for what we want. We want one fair wage.
One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage. One fair wage.
When I say one fair, y'all say wage. One fair
wage.
One fair
wage.
One fair
wage.
One fair
wage.
Wages can't wait.
Wages can't wait. Wages can't wait. Wages can't wait. Wages can't wait. Wages can't wait. Wages can't wait. Wages can't wait.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money.
All right, one fair wage.
When I say relief, you say raise. Relief.
Raise.
Relief.
Raise.
We need relief and we need
raise.
We need relief and we need
raise.
We need it when?
Now.
That's right.
Amen.
And that's how you wage war with a fork.
Period. Oh, no.